The Flash, directed by Andy Muschietti, starring the problematic Ezra Miller, Michael Keaton, and Sasha Calle. I think that's how you say her name. I personally had low expectations for this movie, to be honest with you. I was never a big fan of Ezra Miller's portrayal of the Flash. I'm a big fan of Grant Gustin on the CW. I love that show. And I also like the cartoon movies, how they portray the Flash, but never was a big fan of how they did Ezra Miller's. I thought it was complete goofy, and I think he ran like a jackass. On top of that, the DCEU really doesn't have the best track record in my book. Don't get me wrong, there are good movies, like The Man of Steel, the first Shazam, the first Wonder Woman, and James Gunn's version of the Suicide Squad.
That's about it.
And Ezra going around acting like the Joker all over the world is kind of turned me off of this movie as well. He's really problematic, as I said. The only hype I kind of had for this movie is I was a big fan of the Flashpoint animated movie. I also think Ben Affleck is an amazing Batman. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I was also excited to see Michael Keaton return as well as the OG Batman from the 90s. My son and I had the privilege to see this movie early, and I gotta say, man, not only is this one of the best DC movies I've ever seen, it might be one of the best comic book movies ever. I stand on that. If you can take away the art from the artist, then I think you can love this movie as well. Here's a quick premise. Barry Allen's father is about to be sentenced to death for the murder of Barry's mom. Barry has tried his best to prove his father has been innocent this whole time, but always comes up short. With emotions and desperation at an all-time high, Barry taps into the Speed Force to try and stop all this from happening. Unfortunately, the consequences for his actions are catastrophic. So unlike all these other multiverse and time travel movies out there, this one seems a little bit more grounded and comparable, surprisingly, to Back to the Future, one of my favorite movies of all time. He's staying around the same timeline. He's kind of like that fish out of water character. Matter of fact, there's a lot of development that takes place in Barry's apartment or the Batcave. And this movie, surprisingly, was very funny. Like I said, never was a big fan of Ezra Miller. I thought he was corny and a little bit annoying. But the humor works in this movie. Also, I love the action sequences. I think there's an amazing scene with both Batmans that kick ass. And although this version of the Flash still runs like a jackass, Ezra hands down gives his best performance as Barry Allen. He's funny when he needs to be, he's serious when he needs to be, and he's even sad when he needs to be. As someone that actually has lost somebody in real life, I definitely understand where he's coming from, redoing things, trying to prevent things from happening. Let me know in the comments, if you had a chance to redo something or prevent a death of a loved one, would you take that opportunity? I want to know what your thoughts are on that. And props to his acting skills on playing two different characters. Yes, he played two different versions of himself in this movie, and they were very distinct too. You could tell which one was which. Like, there was one more mature than the other one. There was an older version and a younger version. And wow, he nailed both of those. And honestly, probably my favorite parts of this movie was just him talking to himself, honestly. Maybe in real life, he just knows how to do that well because he has been going crazy. But the only negative I would say about this movie is the CGI was a little bit undeveloped and kind of cringe at times. But I'm not even sure if this is even a complete criticism, because our showing was actually not the final version. So for all I know, the CGI was not complete. And the version we saw, we didn't get to see the end credit scene. We just saw the full uncut version, which that was a first for me. I was really thankful for that. So maybe they touched it up. I will do a spoiler on this movie when it comes out, so I can tell you if that's still my gripe. But even that didn't take me out of the movie. It was still really well written and really well performed by all the actors. Michael Keaton steals every scene he's in as his return to Batman. He obviously is older and less motivated, but when he's convinced to help, he seems really happy to get back in the suit, and he's still kicking ass. That's how we do it in the 90s, baby. Sasha as the new Supergirl was fine. It wasn't a groundbreaking performance, but I think she did really well, and I would love to see her again as this character. And for all you people out there that go to superhero movies just waiting for the cameo, get ready to cream your pants, because this has some of the best cameos I've ever seen in a superhero movie. I can't wait to see this movie again. This movie had a lot of heart, a lot of soul, a lot of brain, and I give it an unapologetic score of 9 out of 10. It's too bad Ezra has gone off the deep end. I really, hope and pray that he does get help that he needs, because for the first time ever since he's been cast as the Flash, I think I'm starting to like him. I really would have loved to see more of this version of the Flash. I'm not going to give my hopes up on him returning as the Flash, though, just because of his antics in real life. But man, he finally has nailed that role and made it his own. But yeah, and no spoilers here, but when you get to that ending, all you gotta do is smile and say, "Take it away, James Gunn." But yeah, did you guys see The Flash? Let me know what you think in the comments. Did you agree with my score? Did you think it was suck? Did you think it was alright? Did you love it? Let me know. Much love, peace, and chicken grease.